having times with my friends, traveling, it's very rarely anything to do with activities itself. It was mostly about people, and I still miss those people, and I had great times with them. But travels to Italy, England, Ireland, and to the coast of Croatia and spending time with friends were my favorite parts. And something you remembered other day, which I haven't remembered, was also going to pioneer school. I did feel elevated at that time. Probably finding out that it's not true, because you know that period was agonizing. You want to believe it, but there is just too much evidence piling up, and you want to make excuses. Your mind's telling you one thing, your heart's telling you other thing. Probably that's the kind of most traumatizing. And as well, while I was pioneering, I had loads of times that I felt the world's on top of me, but that's probably the same for every pioneer, because they work hard hours and they go on ministry hard hours, and then they do things for congregation or what have you, and by the time you come to yourself, you're too tired to take care of yourself. And yeah. I was born into a family of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I was raised to be one from birth. So you could say I was born into it, even though witnesses would say it's not true, you choose it on your own. But as you grow up, you're geared into becoming one. It's everything you're taught from early age is just to become a faithful witness one day. So that's how I became one. It wasn't pleasant. It was sobering experience, and it makes you grow up quickly, because you realize that at any moment you can lose somebody you love.
How old were you when war broke out in Croatia?
I was 7 years old, and 7 years old, and it was scary, but I was a child, so I didn't understand much, but I remember it as being scary.
And did you know anyone who died?
Yeah. My cousin died in aftermath, and I knew quite a few people. One of my neighbors passed away. He was only a young lad with a little baby on the way. Well, I want to say first that I know of many others, and I heard from many others who have made sacrifices that are far more devastating than anything that I've ever done. But I guess you can say that something that was not easy to do was pioneering. I was trying to make ends meet while pioneering, and I was also working. And for example, for a period I worked full-time while I was pioneering, which was 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, and sometimes overtime as well, because you know, if you said no, you can go because somebody else will have a job.
Because it was hard to get a job in Croatia.
Yeah, so that was the difficult part. When you're at work, you're kind of, oh, I need to pioneer, and when you're pioneering, you're thinking, oh, I need to do something else. Yeah, that was the kind of most difficult part, and as well, while going to school, not being able to do everything else that other children were doing, and I just wanted to fit in, really. I wanted to do stuff like singing in a choir and you know, dancing with the dance group and stuff, but I knew everything had some kind of religious or national connection, all the you know, performances public, so yeah, I opted out of them. Kind of that still makes me a little bit It was MTS reunion, and it was Lloyd's MTS reunion. We were a congregation that hosted it, so Lloyd and his mates came from UK to CSAC, which is my congregation. Well, was my congregation. And yeah, there was this guy who was at MTS with them. Didn't have a clue how to organize reunions, so we helped, and that's how I met Lloyd. First time in the Kingdom Hall after he had his talk about, what was it?
It was the introduction to the meeting or something, wasn't it? Or something.
Yeah, something, introduction to service meeting, was it?
Yeah, something like that.
And it was something to do with let's make our talks not being flat and featureless. I still remember, flat and featureless. And I thought it was very animated and quite a contrast to what I was used to in, you know, our Kingdom Hall. So I came up to Lloyd after the meeting and said, I really liked your talk. And that was it. I wasn't coming on to you.
And you were bowled away by my charisma.
At that moment, I was just, you know, wow, good talk. But yeah, later on, I was... your charisma came through very much when you were chasing me with the with your camera.
Which didn't impress you?
Not at all, no. It wasn't sudden discovery of your apostasy to shock me, because it was a very gradual process. It wasn't shocking, and it wasn't revolting, because I knew the issues you were dealing with. I knew you had doubts way before your apostasy started, and I knew you talked to elders about your doubts and what they've given you as an answer, and so it wasn't shocking, but I do remember when you stopped going to the meetings, I was upset. And I remember my first meeting without you, that I knew for certain you would never come back to the meetings, because you kind of decided you are done for good. I remember during opening song crying, and trying to kind of compose myself so nobody would see that I was crying. Yeah, so it was hard. For a while I had a mission to save you, to help you understand that you're doing a mistake and that Jehovah is the only way, until I was honest with myself and started researching by myself as well.
When did you first start having doubts? Because that predated meeting me, didn't it?
Well, that is a difficult one, because I remember as a kid thinking, oh, with all the things that is going on, I wish I wasn't also a witness, because I was always one of those kids that didn't want to preach in the school, and I didn't wear it as a badge of honor. It was more like, why did this have to happen to me? And I remember praying as well to Jehovah. It would be easier if I decided to be a witness myself than kind of being in this situation where I have to be a witness. And I remember praying to him, if you really exist, can you do this and that to show me so I'm not wasting my time, kind of thing. But then my brother got killed, and that changed everything basically, and I started to be spiritual for real.
Sorry, yeah, it's red.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, can you just explain briefly what happened to Daniel?
He got killed at work. He was an electrician, so that's what happened, and it was traumatic. And he was really admirable person. He was my role model. I wanted to be like him. He was much older than me. And that kind of catapulted me into really wanting to believe. And but throughout even that time, I remember when I was needing to get baptized, the person who was studying with me, I was asking her, but what about this and that, and what if I change my mind? And she was saying something to the effect that don't be silly, like, why are you asking all these questions? That will never happen. And I got baptized, and then I was trying my best to really live the truth. But every now and then I would have some kind of doubts that I was trying to repress things that didn't make sense to me.
To what extent did your brother's death have an impact on your involvement with Jehovah's Witnesses?
Well, up until that point I was going to the meetings, but I was also going out with my school friends and wasn't showing that much of an interest. But when that happened...
How old were you?
I was just turned 14 when it happened, and I remember getting really depressed, and I wanted to understand why this happened. Why didn't Jehovah answer my prayer? Because it's a long story, but it had a huge impact on me, and me wanting to build my relationship with Jehovah, because I wanted to see my brother again, wanted to make my mom and dad proud, and I thought this was the only way. He was living this way because he was very admirable, and how would you say, he was very cherished in the congregation. So I thought I need to be more like him as well. And it had a huge impact on my spirituality. The ultimate factor was Jessica being born. Knowing that she will be born, I didn't want her to grow up with same restrictions and same how would I didn't want her to grow up living a lie, because if it was up to me, I'm the kind of person that probably could stomach being inactive just to have contact with my family that I love so dearly. But knowing that will open a door to Jessica being bullied into organization, I just didn't want I didn't want that to happen. And as well, as Lloyd did his decision to go out of the organization, I didn't want us three as a family to be split up. So part of family not talking to Lloyd and then talking to me and Jessica, for me it was just unacceptable. You take us all or you take us none. So, but there were loads of little factors, along the way, but this was the ultimate factor, Jessica being born. I remember the first actual apostate content was Barbara Anderson's website that I went on, and I thought, I'm really interested. What did she find about the governing body? Because I heard these stories that she found out something while she was working in Bethel, and I wanted to know what dirt does she have on the governing body, or is it one of those just apostates that are, making up ridiculous stuff? So I went on and I read all the things about child abuse, and for a moment I thought, is that all? Because I thought there would be something like more. And then I heard myself in my mind saying, is that all? And then I was ashamed of myself, because I thought, can't believe I just thought of that. Is that all? If one child is being molested, that's too much. And here there are cases and there are systematic problems with dealing this huge issue that ruins people's lives, and I'm saying, is that all? So yeah, that was one of my sobering moments where I started to do more research, and then I went on JWN, and basically from then I watched loads of documentaries non-related to witnesses, like Louis Theroux, then loads about Amish people, about all these other high controlled religions, and I couldn't believe how much similarities it had. And then it culminated with me waking up completely. The toll it has emotionally and psychologically on us as a family, because apart from you being very much torn with your focus, you're just focused on your work, it's hard when negative side of it comes out, and it's again mostly due to people.
What do you mean by negative side?
I don't want to get into it. I really don't, because I'm gonna be blasted.
But you mean like haters?
Loads of things have happened that have just been so outrageous that I couldn't believe it could come out of people's minds. So that's the hardest part, dealing with people who are negative and they are projecting onto what they think of you as us as a family, and they're going as much as contacting me, and yeah.
Daddy,
Yeah.
I want to go somewhere very dry with a table that I could bounce a ball on.
Getting emails from people which describe how much they're happier now after they've exited, and meeting loads of great people as a result of your activism. Yeah, it's just fulfilling to see good life stories coming out of this. And as well, as a result of one of your meetups, one couple got together and they got to know each other, and it was great to see their love story developing. It's just people's lives being better. Now, like our typical week now with Jessica and everything. Well, typical week is Jessica and I are trying to be quiet while Lloyd is making videos. Well, I don't know what's typical week. I know on Sundays we do something nice together. We go out, and then on Monday it's work time.
And what does work time look like?
Lloyd is in his zone. He's either doing different kinds of projects and preparing his videos, researching, and then he's having time on camera, in which time Jessica and I need to clear out the house or be quiet somewhere else in the house. But basically when the week rolls in on Monday, it's hard to get Lloyd's attention because he's all focused in work, and he's getting loads of questions and emails to respond to, and yeah, it's even like, Lloyd, you want to what do you want to eat for lunch? And it's gonna be 5 minutes of what do I want to eat for lunch? What do I want? What did you ask? And then they will be like,
because I'm engrossed in what I'm doing.
What do you want for lunch? Oh, I don't care. I don't have time. So it's like that. And with Jessica, I'm trying to keep it fun for her. Now that the weather is nice, we're a lot outside. She likes her reading, watching videos, playing, trampoline time, and yeah. No.
Just no, or?
Well, the thing is, I'd probably, if I had time to be an activist, I would probably first take on environmental issues, because I think it concerns a larger number of people. But I support your activism, and I know it's for good of people, and I see feedback. So yeah, I'm a supporter of activism.
When I have enough float in the very deep.
Really? Okay. We're gonna put your floaties on. What issues?
Yeah.
Like general or
Well, you mentioned environmental, for example.
well, yeah. There's loads, loads to be passionate about. First of all,
Mommy,
global warming. How
Yeah.
can we stop that?
Mommy.
Or not stop it? How can we reduce the effects? Well, conservation, sea life. They're suffocating in plastics and pesticides. There is loads.
Yeah.
Where do I go? Then
Mommy,
species preservation. There are so many species that are endangered, and we can make changes. Then there is a big issue. What do we eat, and how what do we eat helps Earth.
we need to keep
Can't talk about it now because we need to go and swim.
It's a good summary. Thank you.
I don't have any. I find it sad because I can see how much it's limiting people while it's all in their heads. And I don't have fear from it anymore. And I feel a little bit sad also for wasting lots of time believing something that wasn't real. But now I feel free. I feel kind of almost like I have weight off my shoulders, not being oppressed, molded into certain sets of beliefs that were restricting me in my thinking, my acceptance of people, my way I'm bringing up Jessica. So yeah, I feel free, liberated from it. And when I see people that are still stuck and that are wasting their time and money on somebody else's made up such a belief, I feel sad. Okay.
Mommy,
Yeah.
let's pretend that we are let's pretend that we are submarines that have heads on them and don't really need to be on the land. I mean to be in the water.
You just came out of the water, and I wanted to say, if anybody believes something deeply and it brings them joy and purpose in life, I don't have anything against that. I'm very open-minded. You can believe in anything and God. I don't care if it makes you happy and it doesn't hurt anybody else, and it doesn't oppress you. Okay, do it. Just don't make me do anything. You already asked me that
Yeah, and you
question.
didn't answer it.
Because it's hard to just think of stuff, you know. I would beg them to stop hurting people with their policies, you know, to change what they can, to allow for better life for many people. Because of blood, child abuse issues, shunning issues, people are having, you know, lives ruined. Some commit suicide, so it's not a light matter. Yeah, you would need to think carefully how you would, what you would send as your message to governing body. It's not just like, oh, what do you have to say to them?
Okay.
Oh my goodness, that's huge.
And then A message for me?
Yeah, message for you.
Thanks,
Well,
Mommy.
I have loads of messages for her, and I tend to write them down in like journal that's specifically made for Jessica.
Mommy, that's so
And,
sweet of you.
Oh, thank you, darling. Yeah, and it's loads of different things, but one thing I always want her to know, that she's good enough just as she is, and that she's immensely loved, and she always has a backer in me. No matter what happens, I'm gonna try to understand her, try to support her and love her. And I always tell her, you can do whatever you want as long as you put focus into it and work hard, and you're serious about it, you really want it, you can do anything you want. The same thing I say about her dad is that he's one of the people that can do most anything he sets his mind into it. He's able to do loads, just if he really wants it. So I think she's kind of like that. She has that ability. So I'm going to encourage it. You can be whatever you want to be.
Cheese.
Do you have anything to say, Jessica?
I love Mommy.
You just love Mummy? Do you love anyone else?
Even Daddy.
Even Daddy.
I would say do research. Don't be scared. If it's true, what you are believing, it's gonna stand to a test. Devil is Satan is not making up is not able to make up such lies that would completely conquer the truth. If it's truth, it will stand, but if it's not, then why are you doing all these things? Because the argument, even if it wasn't true, this is still the best lifestyle, doesn't hold, because you haven't tried different lifestyle. And if it's not true, doesn't matter what kind of lifestyle it is, it's not true. So
Yeah.
why are you then being restricted in even health issues if it's not true?
Well said.
I don't know.
And that's it.
Okay. I tell you what, I probably, many witnesses who know me would be shocked that I'm saying things like these. Because I was really, exemplary witness. I didn't do any bad stuff since I started pioneering, and I did everything by the book. But the bottom line is it true or it's not true? If one thing about the organization is not true, then it's not complete, truthful organization. So why follow it?
I agree.
Oh, it's a long, hard fall from the top of the world, but it's finally over.